It's Kendra Von Esch of the Von Esches of Tennessee. And good morning, Kendra.
Hey, Kendra.
Good morning. It's still dark here. What's going on? We're getting into fall.
Yeah, it's still dark here in Toledo, Ohio as well. So probably not as dark as there. Are your central time in that part of Tennessee or Eastern? Because I know it's
I am.
divided.
I'm just an hour west of Nashville. So, yeah, we're still central
You're
time
central
here.
time, yeah.
Okay, so you're darker than we are.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes,
Speaking of dark, I mean, look, there are forces all around us, right? I mean, and we have to discern what is going on in our lives. We're told to test the spirits and obviously discern the spirits, and I think that's what you want to talk about today.
Nice segue, Dave. Okay, yes, for sure. We're going to talk about the 14 rules of discerning spirits. Saint
Nice.
Ignatius of Loyola, beautiful, beautiful man. I don't know about you, but I've tried to read some books, and, not to put anyone down, but it wasn't the easiest to grasp. So I'm going to try and use real-life examples so that we can kind of put it in our own lives. So if you think of anything, by all means, pop in here. So we're going to start with rules 1 through 4 today. And rules 1 and 2 are the foundational directional rules. So you know how some people say, oh, if you're in peace, then it's God speaking to you. Well, rule number 1 says that is not the case. But rule number 1 is when you are a person who is dominated by sin or bad habits, like for me, that was most of my life.
Right.
Up until 42 years old, it was just me, myself, and I, drugs and alcohol and pornography and promiscuity and all this kind of stuff in my life. And I felt good. I had peace because I was listening to the devil at that time who was coaxing me in to doing those pleasury, is that a word?
I like
It is
Those
now.
pleasure type, those pleasury types of things. So he, the evil one, was encouraging me to sin. But then there were times, like when I was like flirting with people out in the bars, that the good spirit would kind of sting me when I would come home. My first husband, for example, I'd have this like guilty conscience and a little bit of comfort, and that was God. So let's take a couple of examples. So let's say you're addicted to gambling, and you hear in your voice, come on, just make one more bet. You'll win this time.
Yeah, right.
That is the evil spirit. While when you're kind of trying to get away from gambling and you feel this urge that, you know what, I'm blowing all my money on this gambling stuff, I'm in debt, this is the good spirit trying to get you to stop. Another example is someone regularly watching pornography. This was me. I was like, just feels good. No one knows I'm doing it. I'm in my room. I deserve this release, quote unquote. But my conscience would totally nag me, like this really isn't good to be doing. And then let's say a person is living a purely materialistic life, which was me. I felt no urgency to change. I didn't donate to any cause. It was just my cause. And then yet, at the same time, I had this urge to do something with that money. So it was at first just me, myself, and I. And then to like, wow, I have some money here. What should I do with it? Let's say you're having an affair and you feel good when you're with that person, but then you have this guilt when you get back home with your family and your spouse. So these are some examples of, the evil one tempting you with kind of peace and reasons to do things. And then, of course, the guilt that you feel after is the Lord poking and prodding you to get away from that sin. Okay, rule number 2. These are for people who are already striving toward goodness. I think we've all been there when we've had that moment of conversion. You want to move toward God. You're trying to live a virtuous life. But the evil spirit comes in your way, starts putting all these obstacles in front of you. He discourages you. You have all these doubts and fears. Like the good spirit then will help to remove those obstacles and make things easier, console you, inspire you. So someone that is deep in a prayer life is suddenly overwhelmed with fatigue. Have you ever done that where you sit down and pray and all of a sudden you're yawning
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're kind of nodding off? Maybe it's even an adoration, and
It
then
happened to me Saturday night, yeah.
Right, that could be the evil spirit coming in and distracting you. What about turning to your phone in prayer? Or I don't know about you, but I've had times where I've sat in prayer and I actually have this physical agitation. That was a merge of two words. I just get agitated, like my body wants to move. I can't sit still. But then there's always a moment of where consolation comes through, where I get clarity or peace reading Scripture. You just said St. Jerome, if you don't know Scripture, you don't know Christ. So there are times when you could fight through that, lack of piety, if you will, in prayer, and then the Lord will come and speak to you. A couple more. So a person wants to, volunteer for something, but they get discouraged. Maybe they have to work late and they, don't have time, the quote unquote, we don't have time anymore. But then the Lord brings them hope, gets them out of work early, those types of situations. And in a marriage, I'm not married anymore, my husband passed away, but maybe you're trying to grow in patience and your spouse's typical hint, what they do that bothers you, you get discouraged about it and you get angry. And the Lord will then put gentle inspiration to respond with love in your heart when it comes to that. We only got through rules 1 and 2.
Yeah.